Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. In this video, I want to give an update. Carolina Panthers, some roster changes, some things I didn't get the chance to talk about in the last update video. Also, I wanted to talk about the schedule. It came out earlier this week for the pretty much everyone, and I want to talk about the schedule. I want to give my predictions on the record for next season, for the 2018 regular season. Last year, I have to go back and look at it. I'm pretty sure I predicted 10-6. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure I predicted 10-6. Obviously, this is all before the draft, so it won't affect, I guess how my predictions will go. And plus, you're looking in the draft, you never know how those guys are going to play. You don't have any previous NFL footage to say, well, we know this guy can really change the team around. Obviously, you see college, but it's college, man. Only it'll be tough to sway me based on their draft choices. And I've watched a pretty good amount of footage of some of these guys that the Panthers were looking at potentially for a mock draft or whatever. But quickly getting to the some of the roster changes. If I didn't talk about the Dante Poe thing, I'm pretty sure I did. But of course, they brought him in from the Atlanta Falcons. He was essentially there to replace. He came in to replace Star Lotulelei. He went to Buffalo to make $10 million. The Bashard Breeland thing didn't fall through. He failed his physical, and they were really looking forward to getting him because he was obviously an upgrade over Worley. Worley sucks. He was one of the worst starting cornerbacks in football. Definitely amongst the playoff teams. One of the worst secondaries amongst the playoff teams from last season's playoffs. But they still went out and got some guys. Denoris Cersei is safety from Buffalo, solid. Ross Cockrell at cornerback, still an upgrade over Darryl Worley. Kevin Seymour is a third-year guy. Didn't get a lot of playing time, so we'll have to see how he, if he gets into the rotation. Probably will. Corn Elder was a guy who they drafted last year. Didn't play at all in the regular season. Ended up getting hurt, so hopefully he can come through and we'll see what he can really do. Another young guy, unproven guy. They're very young in the secondary. At linebacker, if you don't already know, Thomas Davis got suspended for the first 4 games for violating the PED policy. So one of these guys, I think it's going to be David Mayo, Shaq Thompson. I got faith in him. He's already proven that he can play. He's got significant minutes with those guys, but they're going to find out because this was 2018 was supposed to be Thomas Davis' last season. So, if none of these guys that they bring in or replace him in his first 4 games gives them the chance to evaluate them, none of these guys do well, they're going to have to look into next year's draft. A lot of people say they should look into this year's draft. I don't think so quickly, just because, you have other more pressing needs. Wide receiver, offensive lineman, running back, defensive end, I think is very, very important. Cornerback, still some improving guys. So I don't necessarily agree with a lot of people saying they should go into looking for a linebacker. At some point they may have to, but I think they should. This 4-game suspension allows them to evaluate the guys that they do have to see if they can play. Moving on into the schedule, I'm just gonna quickly get into it. First game, week 1, Carolina Panthers play the Dallas Cowboys. This is a Carolina Panthers home game, and this is gonna be the Cowboys were disappointing last season. Ezekiel Elliott suspension and everything. Dak Prescott had the sophomore slump, but Dak Prescott can still make plays. They got rid of Dez Bryant, who seemed like he was more of a problem, and his play that didn't make up for the distraction that he was. But as a team, still can run the ball. They're going to be healthy at offensive line. They had injuries at offensive line. They still can run the ball. Dak Prescott can still go out there and make plays. Still going to be a tough team. And then you got to look at Sean Lee, Marcus Lawrence, guys. These are some of the top. These are the top guys on defense. They can, with this Panthers offensive line with the loss of Norwell, it could be a problem. But so I definitely think that's a tougher game than a lot of people think, just because Cowboys run game and a healthy offensive line at the beginning of the season when everyone's fresh. I know you got to watch out for that. Week 2, heading to Atlanta. This division rival. These are always tough. They split last year. This is another tough game against a division rival. These games are usually close. Week 3, they're at home. Carolina Panthers are at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are they need to go ahead and move on with Marvin Lewis. There's a lot of things that need to be changed. Offensive line was terrible. Running game wasn't good. And defense has regressed year in. So, it could still be a tough game just because the Bengals do have talent. They do have talent, but based on what we saw last year, they were a huge disappointment on both sides of the football. Week 4 is a bye. Week 5, the Panthers are at home against the New York Giants. Giants, depending on what happens in the draft, and obviously before the draft, but they need to go quarterback. I was going to tell you, if Giants fans watching, they need to go quarterback. Just because you're still relying on Eli. Eli's done. He's done. But they still have the weapons, and they're going to be healthy. Odell Beckham, still a game changer. But it's all about how Eli's going to play. Defense, I think, has regressed. JPP has moved on to Tampa Bay. So I don't know what to expect out of the Giants team. Eli will have his games with the guys he has, but they were a disappointment even when those guys were in there healthy. Week 6, Carolina Panthers head to Washington and play the Redskins. Some changes in Washington. Alex Smith, don't know how that's gonna go. He's pretty much past it, and even then he wasn't really great. It was mostly Andy Reid's system that made him look really good. I would say he made definitely early on last season he was really good. He was making the throws down the field, something we make fun of him for not doing, but he was making the accurate throws down the field. I don't know how it's gonna go in Washington. Really don't know. It is tough to say without Andy Reid's system there. Week 7, heading to Philly to play the Eagles. The Eagles gonna be tough. Carson Wentz is gonna be back. You see, they got 2 good quarterbacks. Obviously, both guys can't play, but the defense is still good. You still got a lot of those weapons. They lost some guys. Torrey Smith now plays for the Panthers, and they lost their running back. I believe he went to the Lions. So there's been some changes for the Eagles, but they're still gonna be really good. So that's week 7. Week 8. Carolina Panthers at home against Baltimore. Baltimore, man, their offense stinks. It's a big reason why they had a chance at the end of the season to make the playoffs. The offense, Joe Flacco, you paid him all this money, and he just has not produced. He has not produced ever since they gave him this money. So I'm pretty sure they'll be glad when his contract's up, so they can move on with a different quarterback. Not putting all the blame on him. Obviously, he hasn't had the weapons, but even when he did have the weapons, he just wasn't that good. He got it off that one playoff run. Week 9, Tampa Bay, who I think been getting better. You added JPP. They've been getting, the offense is still good. They're explosive. It's a team that they were disappointing just because of the season they had prior to last year's, where they almost made the playoffs. And, they kind of regressed. There were some injuries going on, especially on their offense. They're still going to be a tough team. They're a division rival. Offense looks really good. So that's week 9. Week 10, Pittsburgh Steelers. You know they're going to be tough. Big Ben may have regressed, but he still can make some of the throws. And you got Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell, I don't know how that's going to go. But you still got Antonio Brown. So you know they're going to be a tough out. That's week 10. Week 11, you got heading to Detroit to play Lions. And week 10 was also a away game. Week 11, had Detroit play the Lions. Beat the Lions last year. It was a pretty good game. Cam had a really good game. Lions going to be tough. Matthew Stafford makes a lot of plays. He doesn't get a lot of credit, which he should. But he makes a lot of plays for that team. And the defense, they're known for getting timely turnovers. Pass rush is a problem, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had success against Carolina's offensive line, who's gotten worse from last season. Week 12, Carolina Panthers at home against Seattle Seahawks. And you're talking about a team imploding. Seattle's still going to be good offensively, but defensively, that secondary, it's been a complete change. Richard Sherman's gone. We don't know when Cam Chancellor's going to play, if ever. And Earl Thomas, he won't say it publicly, he wants out. You lose Michael Bennett at your defensive end position. And that defense is just not the same anymore. Offensively, Jimmy Graham's gone. You don't have a bunch of receivers. He doesn't have a bunch of receivers in Seattle. Offensive line didn't improve. So I don't know what they were doing in the offseason. This team is worse. They're much worse than they were at the end of the season, despite, they had a bunch of injuries last year. Especially in that secondary. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, both got hurt. But they're not going to be good. They're still going to be tough. They're still going to be competitive just because of some of the things Russell Wilson can do. They're not going to be slowing teams down like they have been in the past. And you saw that regress even last year when they had some of those guys there. Week 13, Tampa. They heading to Tampa Bay. Tough game. Week 14, Cleveland Browns. I want to see what they do in the draft. They got 2 early picks. They got to take Saquon Barkley first. They're talking about they're going to take a quarterback. Your quarterback's still going to be there with your second pick in that first round. But we'll have to see up to that point. The Browns, they went 0-16, so I can't say the Panthers are going to have a tough time against them. But obviously, we got to wait to see what they do in the draft. Week 15, Carolina Panthers at home against New Orleans. New Orleans beat the Panthers 3 times. Of course, it's going to be a tough game. Week 16, Carolina's at home against Atlanta. Another tough game. And week 17, Carolina is going to be heading to New Orleans. So they end the season 3 tough games. And for as competitive as this division has been, it's going to be tough at the end of the regular season. So I'm still going to go to the 10-6. Like I said, I believe I predicted 10-6 in my video last year. I have to go back and look at it, but I'm predicting 10-6. Obviously, this is without looking at anything in the draft is next week. It's without looking at anything with the draft. I wanted to go ahead and talk about. I kind of wanted to go ahead and do an update. I wanted to talk about some of the changes with the roster, and I wanted to talk about the schedule as soon as possible. I could have waited to the end of the draft, but I wanted to go ahead and get this video out because I am still going to be doing a video post-draft, maybe before the draft. I just really haven't had time to make videos altogether. You saw the NBA videos that I made. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. What do you think about the schedule? Does it look tough? I would say there's some, the Eagles, pitch the Steelers. Cowboys is underrated on that on the schedule. And then you still got to play the division. Division last year you had 3 playoff teams and a Tampa Bay team who can give teams trouble. They just had a bunch of issues, with injuries and of course the defense not playing as well. But they're much better than they were last year. So Let me know what you think down in the comment section about the schedule, about some of the moves. Are there still moves to be made? I seriously doubt that. And biggest question, do you think the Panthers will move up in the draft to get a receiver? Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, those are the two of the top guys. Do you think the Panthers will move up to potentially get those guys? Because they're not going to make it past the 49ers. They're not going to make it past the Bears. Those are two teams who have huge needs at wide receiver, and they got a young quarterback that they're trying to get some pieces around them. So those top guys won't make it past those two teams, to say the least. There's some other teams that need receiver help, but those two teams will definitely try to get the top guys on that board. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. Like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.